it's your friendly neighborhood madwoman here, coming at you with a little bit of movie news. Back in December, a movie came out called Little Women. Now, this was an adaptation, one of many, from an Alcott novel following the lives of three women who go from girls to womanhood. That's basically the gist of it. That's more or less the overlying arc and plot of the entire movie. You're following three females in the book grow up from being girls to blossoming into three different women. Now, this in no way is knocking the author. This is a 19th century book that, as we will be able to see in a moment or two, has been made into countless movies, animated and live action. Now, the latest iteration of this book that has hit the theaters, people are bitching because men aren't going to see it. Little Women, about three women and their life and their coming of age from being girls to growing into women, and men aren't going to see the movie. It's a movie about women, and men aren't going to see it. The more I read these articles and the more I dig into this, the more it is becoming evidently clear that in this age of identity politics, these people have lost what it means to market a movie, what target audiences are, and what products are going to appeal to what demographics. I mean, you can sit there and bitch all day you want, all day, all night, every month, if you want, about how men aren't going to see Little Women. But in the end, it's a movie that's not really targeted to that demographic. Let's get into this. As you can see, these are all the adaptations from the novel, from 1933 to present. So there's been a lot, 1917 actually, to present. There's been a lot of adaptations of this movie. So why are they coming out with this again? Did they think this was the, perfect environment in which to, do yet another adaptation of this movie to see if they can get butts in seats? Or do they have an ulterior motive, thinking that, we'll do this movie, we'll release it to the theaters, and if men don't go see it, we'll have another reason to bitch about the male persuasion. Just throwing those options out there. Yes, this is a Sparks Note site. We're going to read this little highlighted thing about the novel by Louisa May Alcott. Have I read the book? No. I tried reading the book. It bored me. And I'm a woman. Of course, in my defense, I like action. I like mystery. I like suspense, horror, science fiction, fantasy, that kind of stuff. This kind of stuff never appealed to me. I tried reading Gone with the Wind. It put me to sleep. I mean, it's not my genre. Coming of age stuff really isn't, it doesn't appeal to me. So, according to this, for those of us that haven't read the books, it's a woman's struggle between familial duty and personal growth. While on the surface, a simple story about four March girls' journeys from childhood to adulthood, Little Women centers on the conflict between two emphases in a young woman's life: that which she places on herself and that which she places on her family. In the novel, an emphasis on domestic duties and family detracts from various women's abilities to attend their own personal growth. And for Jo, and in some cases Amy, the problem of being both a professional artist and a dutiful woman creates conflict and pushes the boundaries set by 19th century society. Again, it's a book about women in 19th century society, choosing between growing and as a person and being stuck in family life. It's a movie and a book about women. So it's going to be marketed to women. So women are going to go see it. And men, in general, not as a whole, aren't going to be interested in it. Hashtag not all men. Now, we come over here to this Vanity Fair article. Little Women has a little man problem because it's, Many male award season voters are skipping Greta Gerwig's adaptation, apparently because they think it's not for guys. It's a book about women that was adapted into a movie that's still about women. So it's not for men. Says one cast member, I just can't believe we're still having this effing discussion. Well, you're still having the discussion because apparently you forgot how marketing and target audiences work. Oh, Lord. The first public screenings of Little Women were filled to capacity, but the distributors and award season strategists behind Greta Gerwig's new film were worried nonetheless. No shit. The audience was overwhelmingly comprised of women. Imagine my shock. And the voting memberships of various Hollywood award ceremonies are obviously not. Obviously not. It is a completely unconscious bias. No, it's not an unconscious bias. It's a movie about women coming of age. Men don't want to see that shit. A lot of men don't want to see that shit. I'm not saying all men don't want to see it. Some might be curious and go see it, but not all men want to see that shit. Hell, not all women want to see that shit. I'm one. I don't think it's anything like a malicious rejection, said producer Amy Pascal. Well, at least somebody sounds reasonable. Still, she doesn't believe men gave the movie a shot. RSVPs for the first screening in October, as well as many others that Sony Pictures hosted around Los Angeles in recent weeks, were skewed about 2-1 in favor of women, because it's a movie targeted to women. I don't think that men came to see the screenings in droves. Let me put it that way, Pascal said. And I'm not sure when they got their screener DVDs that they watched them. Because it's not targeted to men. Skip. 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 How many times do I have to say the same shit over and over again? The film, which opened nationally on October 25th, received only a dramatic actress nod for Saoirse Ronan. I don't know how to say. I know I butchered that. From the Globes, along with an original score nod for composer Alexandre Desplat. It got nothing at all from SAG. Little Women has mattered deeply to generation after generation of women and girls. Let me put that in bold. Let me read that again. Little Women has mattered deeply to generation after generation of women and girls. Ever since it was first published in 2 volumes in 1868 and 1869. The new film, Ronan stars as Firebrand Joe, who longs to become a published writer, while Florence Pugh, I guess is how you say her last name, plays sometimes abrasive artist Amy. Emma Watson is the steadfast sister Meg. Why am I not surprised? And Eliza Scanlon is frail sister Beth. All living in the household overseen by Mother Marmee, Laura Dern, as they await father's return from the Civil War. Okay. So we're just going to leave it at that. Because this right here, oh, these people have lost their fucking mind. Okay. They defeated their own argument. They basically said it. It's a coming-of-age book for girls. It's always been for women and girls. It's never been for boys and men. For you to sit there and bash an entire sex because not enough of them are going to see a movie that is obviously targeted toward women and girls is your ignorance, not their unconscious bias. Throughout history, whether consciously after, researching and realizing that there are things as target audiences and marketing to such audiences, And as time progressed, after marketing became more refined, more scientific, and geared more towards certain audiences, age groups, and demographics as a whole, we've seen different things targeted to different people, different groups of people, different races, different sexes, what have you. What we're seeing here in Hollywood with Little Women, with the latest iteration of Charlie's Angels, with Dark Fate, is we're seeing, to me, a turning of the tides where people are voting with their wallets. People aren't going to see movies that either break canon or, in the case of Little Women, continue the canon with yet another adaptation of the same novel that's been out for God only knows how long already. I don't feel like doing the math. That is literally targeted toward the female persuasion. You cannot have a movie that's adapted from a novel that is coming of age for girls and to women and get pissed off that men aren't going to go see it, because talking from a marketing sense, men aren't the demographic that it's marketed to. I'm not going to go see a coming of age, a 19th century novel adapted into a movie for coming of age for boys and men, because it's not targeted for me. It's not my genre. Coming of age movies aren't my genre anyway, but that's beside the point. I digress. These people are going to have to face reality. They're going to have to go back to being a little more scientific and a little less emotional, because there are target audiences out there. You market things to certain audiences. Am I going to, if I was inclined to write romances, which I'm not, I can't stand them, they put me to sleep. But if I was going to write a romance novel, would I target it to men? No, most men don't read romance. Most men read mysteries, fantasy, adventure, science fiction, things of that nature. That's more or less what men like to read. Women are, most, not all, are geared toward, coming of age, lighter mysteries, kind of like Agatha Christie, romance, and things of that nature. That's why in the 70s and 80s, a lot of people were picking on women, because we didn't, a lot of women at that time didn't want to go see adventure movies. They wanted to go see rom-coms, romances, and things of that nature. Because everybody has their taste in movies, and every demographic has what they want to go see. The male demographic just doesn't want to go see Little Women. No matter how much you bash them, no matter how much you tell them they have to go see it, they're not going to go see it, because it's not a movie made for them. It's time to face facts. It's time to face reality. It's not a movie targeted for men. And that's another video in the can. If you liked what you just saw, don't forget to hit that like button. If you have issues, there's that dislike button. If you haven't subscribed yet, watch a few more of the videos before you make an informed decision. If you want to continue the conversation, well, that's what the comment section is for. The link to my blog and everything that you see on this screen is in the description below, as well as a myriad of ways to support the channel and all the content that I make. See you guys later.